Greetings and hello, Waynesville Yoga family. How are you today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Renee, and this class is Flow and Align. So for today's practice, we are going to focus on props. So why props? So with the usage of props, they are really excellent tools for helping us find great alignment in our poses, which is really critical and important as you move from one level to the next. Props can help you achieve a particular pose, find your alignment in it, find what your body needs to do in that pose, and they're also great for deepening, right? So if you already have mastered a pose, but you're looking to deepen it somehow or even modify it and take it to another level, absolutely, props are wonderful tools to help you achieve that. So today we are going to focus our practice on utilizing these tools, incorporating them into our flow. There's going to be some stopping and repositioning, so it's not going to be a completely smooth flow, but we are going to spend time in each of the poses, so kind of like a yin-ish pose class, with the main thrust, the main focus of this practice being finding your alignment in that pose, utilizing your props as a support, and then taking time to settle in, see how it feels in your body, and find those adjustments and things that you need to help you really enjoy and further enhance your practice of yoga. Okay, so just a couple of words about props. So there's lots of them out there, right? We've got, our yoga wheels, which are really great for back bends and different types of positioning. They can help you find leg positions and stretches. And, so there's the wheel. We also have the yoga wedge, which is really great for, hand positioning and just really helping you. If you have wrist issues, they can help you, kind of bring the floor up to the wrists and help alleviate some of that support. Various other ways to use the wedge. So they're really great for anything, like I said, for wrist positions, elbow positioning. You've got your yoga wedge. Then there's the yoga strap. Really great for helping you deepen a pose, finding a deeper stretch, helping you find a certain alignment. Straps are always a really great universal tool. And then there's also the yummies, like eye pillows, which are wonderful during Shavasana. You want to lay that over your eyes and really helps you find that deep relaxation. For today's practice, we are going to focus on what I like to call the big three. And I feel like these are the three universal tools that you can use for just about every pose. And they also have really great easy substitutes. So if you don't have a standard, what you would find like in a yoga studio type version of the prop, you can always use something at home to substitute for them. So what the big three are, we've got our bolster. Bolsters are wonderful for height. They're going to help you achieve lift and help you deepen into a pose, help you relax into a pose. So they're really great. They're often used a lot in restorative classes, as well as we're going to utilize them today to help us find some different alignment techniques in different poses. If you do not have a standard bolster, then a sturdy couch cushion will do. I recommend something firm just because I think with a bolster, when you're trying to find that height, you don't want something that's going to sink you down. A standard pillow is probably more comfortable, but it's not going to necessarily help you achieve that particular height without that firmness. So like a couch cushion is a good substitute. Secondly, we've got our yoga blanket. Amazing for cushioning knees, giving you a little bit of height. If you don't want the standard height of a bolster and you just want like a little bit of lift, a little bit of raise, blankets are great for that. They're also really great for cushioning the knees in any position when you're down on your knees. They're also really great to roll up and use as like a neck roll. And they're also, lastly, really super wonderful for Shavasana. If you tend to get cold, you're gonna want to roll up in the blanket and keep yourself a little toasty. They're really great for that. And then lastly, we've got our yoga blocks. And these are, just your standard yoga blocks. If you don't have these that are made out of foam or cork, then you can just utilize something about the same height and size, same height and width, so you can get, good hand position on them. And you also want to just make sure that they're sturdy, so when you put your weight down on them, it's not going to crush down on you. And, these are just wonderful for finding length support. They work for height. So, if you want to get a little higher than a bolster in, say, like a bridge or a fish, blocks are really great for that too. So really versatile tools. As you can see, one can sort of substitute for the other and for the other. So, we're going to focus on the big three today, but know that there are a variety of things out there and available. Find what works for you, find what enhances your practice, and what you have fun with. Like I said, the basics, always standard, always great. Alrighty, so before we get started, one last thing just to mention about music. If you have music that you like to play during your practice, go right ahead. I love having music during the flow. Those of you who attend my live classes know I'm a big fan of music. However, we do not have them for the videos, so I do recommend that if you have it and there's something that fuels your practice, go ahead and have it available. Just make sure that whatever device you have that you're playing your music on, that you've got the volume control handy, because at the end, when we move into Shavasana, I'll lead you in a mini guided relaxation, a little guided mini yoga nidra practice at the end. So you just want to make sure that your music's turned down and you can hear and concentrate on the sound of my voice. Alrighty, so with that, let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to begin in easy seat. We are going to begin in easy seat on the bolster. So I like the bolster for height. In this position, I find that you get a little bit of rotation of the pelvis, which is going to help you find lift in that spine, give you a nice long line of energy from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Also, if you find that when you sit down in easy seat and your legs are up high, bringing yourself up on a support is going to help you get those knees down below the hips, give you a little bit more comfort in that position, as well as help you find that lift from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. All right, so let's go ahead and get centered here at the beginning of our practice. So go ahead and close your eyes. And if you prefer not to close your eyes, just go ahead and soften your gaze. Just begin to center in on your breath. And just feel the cool inhales and the warm exhales. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath in and a big audible sigh out. One more time, deep breath in. Nice big audible sigh out. And as you let that sigh out, just begin to let the distractions of the day, of the room, of life just start to melt away and fade into the background. And just take your to-do lists and your maybe I should be's and oh I have to's and oh I can't forget to, and just put them away for just this 1 hour, just this 1 hour today to focus on you, your well-being. And as you center in, I invite you to take this time to set an intention for your practice. Whether it is something you want to help motivate you through your practice today, something you want to accomplish by the end of it, by the end of the week, end of the month, doesn't matter. It's yours and yours alone. But let today feed that intention. Let that intention feed your movement today. Just begin to slowly introduce Ujjayi breathing into your practice. Hear that oceanic wind as you breathe in and out. Beautiful job. And on your next inhale, slowly sink your head down towards your chest as you bring your chest out and forward. So it's almost like a seated cow, except you've got your chin down. And then as you exhale, just go ahead and release back to neutral chin position, and you bring your chest back in. So inhale, and then exhale. Beautiful. Inhale, chin down, belly forward. And exhale, back to neutral. Beautiful. Just working on warming up the spine, the back, opening up the breath, allowing the breath into the body. Beautiful. And now on your next exhale, as you drop your chin, on your next inhale, as you drop your chin, you're going to sink back into a cat position. So you're bringing in that curvature of the spine. Back to neutral. Beautiful. And now we're going to just move into regular seated cat-cow. So as you inhale, bring chest forward, chin up. And then as you exhale, bring in that curvature of the spine. Now, if it's not for your body to curve in the spine, then you want to just come back to a neutral position. And just feel the breath coming into that center channel of the body. Opening up the body and making space for it. And on your next exhale, just come back to a neutral spine. Then as you inhale, place your right hand down on the side of your bolster. Lean over to your right and lift your right arm or your left arm up to the sky and over. Now, for alignment positioning here, hips are still firmly planted on your bolster. And so you're feeling that line, that stretch from the hip all the way up through the side body, up through the shoulder. Just take a moment and breathe into this space here. And again, hips are forward, shoulders are forward. So make sure you're not rotating the body over. There's none of that. That you are really opening up that side body and breathing into that space. Letting that air in and letting it fuel your muscles, warm those joints, lubricating that space. Beautiful. On your next inhale, bring it up and back to center. And just take a moment and just notice the difference in the two sides of the body. This feels more open. You can really feel the breath in this space. This space really feels like it needs it now. So we're gonna move to that side. Inhale up and over. And remember, keeping that hip pressed down, shoulders are straight, hips are straight. There's no rotation in that upper body. You're just breathing into the side body, opening this space. Really breathe in there and feel that air. Beautiful job. Couple more breaths here. On your next inhale, bring yourself up. Exhale that arm down, and we're gonna inhale one more time to each side. 2 breaths on each side. And over to the other. Remember your alignment. What's your default? Remember, stay aware and conscious of where your shoulders are, where are your hips. Where's my arm? Where's the breath? Beautiful. Bring the arms down and then just come back to center. And again, just that one more moment. Deep breath into that center cavity, that center chamber. Exhale it out. Beautiful. Now go ahead and on your mat, roll forward onto your hands and knees. If you were sitting up on the bolster prop, just slide it out of the way. We're going to use it here again pretty soon. I have my blanket underneath my bolster because I'm going to demonstrate utilizing this as a cushion for the knees. And it's really great, especially if you have a mat that's thinner profile. Blankets are really great for cushioning. Excellent. So from here, go ahead and spread the knees out a little bit farther than hips width. I think in this next pose, you're going to find that when your knees are a little bit farther apart, you get a little bit more rotation. Now bring your left hand towards the center of the mat, not all the way center, but towards it. And then as you inhale, reach up to the sky with that right arm. Beautiful. And breathe into that twist. Couple of breaths here. And then go ahead and exhale and bring that arm down. And over to the other side again, bring that right arm a little bit in. And then go ahead and inhale and reach up. Twist on up. Breathe into that twist. Breathe into those spaces in the body. Beautiful. Go ahead and come back down to center. And then from here, go ahead and bring those knees back so they're in line with the hips. I'm gonna make sure your hands are back aligned with the shoulders, and then just sink back into child's pose, only for a second, and then come back up to tabletop. Just warming up, and then as you go down, breathe in, and then exhale up. Beautiful. Just warming up those hips, bringing breath and openness into the space. Beautiful. And then on your next inhale, roll forward a little bit. Just come into kind of a modified up dog. And then go all the way back down into child's pose. Just following this movement with your breath. Beautiful. And you're just bringing in that breath in the upper and lower, into the shoulders, into those hips. And then on your next exhale, just find stillness and tabletop. Beautiful. And then from here, take your right leg and stretch it out as you inhale and extend that leg out, sort of a half bird dog. And then exhale it in. Inhale. And then exhale it in. Last time. Inhale back. And then exhale in. And place that leg down. And then repeat on the other side. Inhaling to extend that left leg. And then exhaling. Bringing that in. Inhale. Exhale. Last time. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful. And go ahead and find stillness. Now, a couple of options here. You can keep your blanket where it is, or if you'd like, you can slide it up out of the way. Just make sure you have plenty of room on your mat to go ahead and roll forward into a cobra pose. So for cobra, a couple of options here. So sometimes some folks like to use a block for a little bit of height. I am personally not going to do that today. So we're going to just keep our hands at our shoulders and then just bring up a little bit of height here. Little baby cobra. And then exhale down. One more time. Inhale up into a baby cobra. Exhale down. Inhale up, last time. And exhale down, beautiful. Go ahead and tuck those toes. Push your hands up to a tabletop position. Then tuck those toes, lift those hips, and come back into down dog. Excellent. So take a moment here just to pedal out the feet. Beautiful. Then go ahead and inhale and roll forward to plank. And then exhale, come on down to your knees. Now go ahead and find your support. And bring it, your bolster, so it sits just about mid-breastbone. And find supported Sphinx. So you've got your elbow tips kind of almost towards the end of the bolster, and you're supporting up, you're getting a deeper version of this pose, utilizing the bolster. Your elbows are nice and grounded. Chin is up. Beautiful. Just breathe into the space here. Beautiful. And then on your next exhale, lean into your left elbow just a little bit, just so you can bring your right leg up so it's parallel. You're finding a half frog position here. So come back to your Sphinx, take your time. And now you're really breathing into the back and the hips. Finding excellent lift through the use of the bolster. Beautiful. Breathe here. Really find that space. Find your edge. Excellent job. Now with alignment, again, make sure shoulders are pointed forward. Hips are down towards the floor. You want to make sure you're only biasing to the one side just to get into the position, but you need to come back so you can find your stretch here. So check your alignment of your hips. Now if you want to deepen, we're doing half frog here, but if you find you want to deepen right away and you want to go into full frog, you can do that. Now hold this position here, really breathe into those spaces, breathing into those lower channels, breathing into the back and the center channel. Beautiful. This to me feels like heaven. This is so good for the body. Beautiful. Now on your next exhale, go ahead and plant those fingers into the ground. Go ahead and lean over on that elbow if you need to and bring that right leg in. Beautiful. Now go ahead and find half frog on the other side. And take your time getting there. Now, like I said, you want to find the position. You want to make sure your alignment is sound. Beautiful job. And then breathe into that space. And at any time, if you find that you're going over your edge, just dial it back. You are always free to do that. Breathe into those spaces. Really feel the body opening. Beautiful job. Remember your alignment. Hips are pointed down. Chin is forward. If you're feeling pain at any point, just dial it back. You can come off the bolster if you'd like. You can come down to a rolled blanket if that's more comfortable at that height. Hold and Beautiful job. Your next inhale, go ahead and lean into that support. Bring those legs back to center. Go ahead and just sink down onto your bolster for just a moment. And go ahead and push yourself up to hands and knees. Let's slide that bolster out of the way. Beautiful. And we're going to grab our blocks and have them handy in front of us here. And we're going to find tabletop. And then we're going to tuck those toes. We're going to lift those hips and come back to down dog. And then just neutralize out those hips a little bit here. Beautiful. Just notice how the body feels after that. Beautiful leg, hip opener. Excellent. Now come back down to knees. Grab your blocks. And go ahead and bring the right leg forward into a low lunge. And we're going to use our blocks for length and support here. So go ahead and set those blocks up so they're on either side of the foot. And go ahead and make sure hips are pointed forward, shoulders pointed forward, and then lean in to that stretch and just feel that hip flexor stretch open. Now you want to make sure you've got a nice 90-degree angle here. Now you can go a little bit over, you don't want to compromise the knee, so it's always advisable to keep it here, but you can deepen a little bit. Just find what works for your body. Now, if you'd like, you can have a blanket under your knees to help cushion. Beautiful. And just lean into those blocks. Really sink into that hip flexor. Just breathe into the space, open up that lower channel. Let that breath in. Beautiful. You want to keep these hip flexors nice and lubricated, nice and stretched. Excellent. Just breathe here. On your next inhale, go ahead and press up. And then on your exhale, go ahead and sink those hips back into half Hanuman. Now with this position, again, you want to make sure the hips are forward. You got a nice flat back. Nice long line of energy, so the stretch is in the hamstring. Beautiful. Again, make sure those hips are evenly back. Sometimes the tendency is when we're doing asymmetrical stretches like this, we tend to bias to one side. You just want to make sure you're not biasing. Make sure those hips are nice and square and that stretch is really felt here. And then use your blocks to help you find that length and alignment. Now, if you're naturally hypermobile and you're not feeling it, just bring those blocks out farther. And then raise your body up a little bit more. So you find that stretch. What you don't want to do is you don't want to just automatically go all the way to the end. You want to find about 70% stretch. Find that little bit of edge, that little bit of alignment change that's going to help you not necessarily continue to hypermobilize your muscles. You know, people... Being super flexy is fine, but it has its issues as well. So you want to just make sure that you're not always biasing to the hypermobile. Beautiful. Now a couple of options here. As you inhale and come back here, you have the option, if you'd like, to go back into that lunge. Stretch out that hip flexor. If you'd like, you can also try full Hanuman on the block. And this is a great way to practice, like if you're not there and you're wanting to work your way towards full Hanuman. Utilize your block under your right hip. Utilize your left block to help you find your upright position in your spine. And then just sink into the pose here for a few moments. Now again, your leg doesn't have to be perfectly straight. You don't have to have a perfect split. That's not necessarily, you're working, if you're working towards this pose, wonderful. A few minutes of this a day, help you stretch out those hamstrings. You stretch out that hip flexor. If you're not quite there yet, or not quite ready to try, again, you can go back and forth between Ardha Hanuman and your low lunge. They're gonna help you flex out those muscles. Beautiful. Now when you're ready to release, just go ahead and sink into your support on your left. Go ahead and grab your support from under your hip and bring yourself back. And just come into Thunderbolt pose for just a moment. And again, just take a moment to notice how the body feels. Feel where you're open, feel where you're tight. What sensations are you having right now? Beautiful. Now on your next inhale, go ahead and come back up to your tabletop and then bring your left leg forward. I'm going to repeat on the other side. So find your low lunge. Remember, hips forward, shoulders forward. You've got a nice line of energy here. You're not flaring out the ribs. You've got a nice little back bend going. The stretch is in the hip flexor. So take time to find the stretch in the hip flexor. Beautiful job. And again, utilize your blocks. Use them for your length and support. That's what they're there for. They're going to help you deepen this pose. They're going to help you lengthen. Just breathe here and breathe into those spaces. Beautiful. And check your back foot. I tend to sickle my foot a little bit, so I always have to kind of remember to consciously think, don't do that, straighten up the foot. Or I can feel it when I do it. And, I think that's just going to be a lifelong, I'm going to have to remind myself every time type of thing. So just keep in mind, back foot might sickle. So just think about that. Remember, don't arch your back or hunch your back here. Then we have a nice little back bend. Beautiful. But you're not rib flaring. Just breathe into that space. Open it and let it in. Excellent. And your next inhale, push on up. And then as you exhale, come back sink back into half Hanuman. Now again, something to think about when you're stretching asymmetrically is that, both sides of the body, the two sides of the body might be different. One side might be a little tighter than the other, so you may have to stretch it a little longer. You may have to stretch it a little differently. You may have to back up, on one leg, more so than the other. Just really just depends on your body. So find where you're at and what your body needs. And again, remember, upper body is straight, you're not hunched over. Got a nice long line of energy coming here, and you're breathing into the center channel, and then all the stretches here in the hip flexor, or excuse me, in the hamstrings. Beautiful. And that's perfectly okay if both sides aren't the same. I know I have two different sides of the body when it comes to stretching. So one side I just have to work a little bit longer or come back and work it again. It's just how it goes. Beautiful. Now again, you have the option here to go back into your lunge, or if you want to practice, you can try full Hanuman on this side. Again, bringing that block below the hip for support. You know, let this, if you're not already achieving full Hanuman, let this be a goal. I like to set pose goals for myself. Where do I want to be in 6 months with this? Where do I want to be? Blah, blah, blah. Remember, use your right side block, because Hanuman, the body is up. You've got a nice long line of alignment here. Nice long line of energy in your position, in your full Hanuman position. So let the block support you upright and let your other block support your hip while you find your stretch. And it's a work in progress. It's gonna take time. It's okay, that's life. Things take time. Focus and breathe here. And even if you don't stay here for a long period of time, that's okay. Go back to your low lunge. You're just exploring different stretches, making your way towards a new pose, deepening a pose, just trying something new. Beautiful job. And then go ahead and press into that right support. And lift your back. And then come back into tabletop. Set your blocks aside, but keep them nearby. We're going to use them here in one more second. And just set back into child's pose. Beautiful. And just take a moment here to just stretch out the hips, stretch out the quads. A couple of moments to release the body. And then come on up to Thunderbolt pose. And as I mentioned, just have your blocks handy for half camel. So from Thunderbolt, and make sure you're sitting up nice and tall here. Come on up to high knees. And for camel, toes can be tucked. Toes can be flat on the floor. I tuck. I don't think it makes one bit of difference one way or the other. And then go ahead and begin to press those hips forward. And then begin to arch your back. Make sure you're not flaring out those ribs, but you're arching up your back. And then go ahead and use your block to help support your camel. Beautiful. Now here, remember, hips are forward, shoulders are even. You're not biasing or twisting to one side. You've got a beautiful, beautiful arch in the back. Beautiful. Come on up. And then just go ahead and set back down a thunderbolt for just a second. And then come on up. Tuck your toes or flatten them out, however you do it. And again, begin to go into your camel, prep for your camel, get those hips going forward, shoulders are straight, using your block. Go ahead and find your alignment. And use your blocks to help you maintain that straight line in the shoulders. Sometimes when people are first learning camel and they're trying to lean back and catch their heel, the tendency is to twist and then you end up kind of like this. It's not what you want to do. So use your support to help you stay straight here and get that nice, beautiful arch going back. Beautiful job. Couple more breaths here. And go ahead and bring your body upright. Use your supports to help you. Come on back down to your thunderbolt. And then go ahead and slide those feet out in front of you. And come on in to just a seated kind of easy seat, and then roll on back down onto your back into flat feet on the floor, hips on the floor, and then go ahead and bring your bolster and lift up your hips, and go ahead and slide your bolster under your hips for supported bridge. Now, if you remember from last week's breathing class, this is a wonderful diaphragm releaser. Great on the low back, great on the diaphragm. Just breathe into this space right here. And you're beginning to find your relaxation. And some of you, if you'd like, you can go ahead and stretch those legs out long. Breathe into the low back, breathe into this release. Beautiful. On your next inhale, bring those feet back to the floor and just take a couple more breaths here. Just let this soothe and relax your body. Go ahead and take your knees up. Bring your feet all the way up to the sky. And then when you're ready, just go ahead and slowly bring those knees in towards your chest, mindful of your support. And then bring your feet back to the ground and slide that support down towards your ankles. So from under your bum, so then come down underneath your knees here. And if you'd like, you can also grab your block, if you've got that handy and nearby. You can come into a little bit of a supported fish. So make sure your block is just right at the shoulder blades, just below. Just take a few moments here. Breathe into those spaces. Now, if this is too deep of an angle, you have obviously different block options. You can have a neck roll if this is too high and you prefer a little bit of lift and support in the neck. You can also put a blanket here instead of a block. That's another option as well. You can just roll up a little blanket, fold it up. You want just a little bit of lift. Me, I tend to like it a little deeper. Sometimes I'm up much higher on the block than this. Just really sort of depends on the day and what my body is really calling for. That's just me, and that's my body. Everybody's body is a little different. Go ahead and use this time to start to prepare for your final rest, your final Shavasana. So if you want to stay here with the fish, you're welcome to. If you want to remove that block and keep your knees elevated for a supported corpse pose, you're welcome to. Find whatever final rest feels wonderful for you. Grab that blanket and cozy up if you'd like. Grab that eye pillow. And just one more moment before you fall into your deep final rest. Grab those knees and hug them into your chest. Take a nice big inhale. And then exhale and release. Your eyes closed. Begin by becoming aware of your breath. And just notice the sensation of the coolness as it enters. And as it slowly warms, as it travels down the chest into the lungs. And then just feel the lungs filling up with energy and vitality as you bring in that air. And as you exhale, feel your body releasing all the toxins, negativity, any stress that has accumulated. Now stay with this breath. Just focus on the feeling of deep peace, that coolness as it comes in. And then just that release and warmth as it goes out. And take this for 10 deep inhales and exhales. 1 being an inhale and an exhale. Now become aware of the energy that is in the body. Feel the warmth and tingling of every little cell. And feel that tingling of your body, of all those little cells. And then feel all of the awareness of the environment that's around you. And feel your cells interacting with all that is. Just bring all those energies together. As you breathe them in, just visualize your body as a ball of shining light. Your energy is just shining as bright as the sun. And just feel the warmth of that shining energy starting at the crown of the head, just moving down over your forehead and your nose, chin and neck and shoulders, down over your chest and arms and hands, through your torso, your abs, your hips, thighs, all the way down to your feet. Feel that light shining right out the tips of those toes. Your whole body is just burning and shining with this beautiful light. It's warm and it's healing, and it's expanding all around you. Allow that healing light into your intention. Hold the thoughts of your intentions and allow allow this light and energy to bring them to life. Just hold this beautiful, deep, relaxing warmth. As it shimmers and shines and warms and heals. And now begin to bring awareness back to the body. Sparkling, shimmering light. It's floating around you. Go ahead and take a nice deep inhale and a big sigh out. Now go ahead and start to bring a little bit of life into those fingers, wiggling them, and into those toes. And begin to circle those wrists and ankles. And when you're ready, go ahead and stretch up, reaching far all the way up with the arms and all the way out with the toes. And when you're ready, if you have a support somewhere under your knees or behind you, just go ahead and move it off to the side and just roll over onto one side. Just take this moment to assess and integrate everything that you've done today. And just have an awareness of your body and how it feels. When you're ready, go ahead and take that top hand and push yourself on up to a comfortable seat. Try to keep your eyes closed if you can. Otherwise, just soften your gaze. If you feel inclined, please bring your hands to heart center, or you can leave them on the tops of your knees. And just take this moment to thank yourself for spending this hour on you and reconnecting with your mind and your body and your breath and bringing them all together into this gorgeous movement that is so nurturing and so healing and so special for the body. Just this 1 hour a day can bring hours and hours of light into your life. And I want to thank you for taking time to practice with me. I look forward to seeing you next time.